You already know what it is. It's another episode of You Don't Have to Be Perfect. I told you I had a superstar. Gotta be perfect, you just gotta get started. Don't overthink it. Just go where your heart is, turn your dreams into an amazing episode. Success is inevitable. We got Jada in the building, kicking off our youth movement. You ain't never seen nothing like this before. Sideline judges, non-believers, people holding their grudges, appreciate the hate. It comes with the winning. When your wise big enough money, it's unstoppable from the beginning. Your excuses are useless. Let your actions be part of the solution and watch the income it produces. Recognize greatness, a supreme revelation. Years of blood, sweat, and tears to become an overnight sensation. Can't do it alone. I should have said this first. Teamwork always makes the dream work. Teamwork always makes the dream work. Yeah, we are super excited. So I have done, we know this is season 2 of You Don't Have to Be Perfect. And I've been able to interview so many amazing and exciting people. But I think this might be my most anticipated interview. Ladies and gentlemen, let me please introduce you to Jada Amirah. Yes. So Jada, the world got to learn last week. I hang out with your mom because I'm in love with you and your mission
Oh,
and your
thank you.
whole story. So your mom tells us you were the first baby held by President Obama.
Yes, I was. It happened in 2009 when he first, was starting his run, and it was like exclusive, and basically my mom got invited, and it was just so crazy. Everyone else is like, "Oh my gosh, like I can't believe that happened."
Now, do you feel that being held by Obama from almost birth, right, that it put a little pressure on you for who you've becoming, or do you think it's become more of a guiding light for the beacon of hope that you've become?
So I would think that it's more guiding because having good experiences from when you were a baby, it really does change you. Like let's just say, like I met him and I didn't do nothing with my life. That's just like a waste of opportunity, I feel like. So getting to meet more people, especially meeting him, like the first famous person I ever met was the president. So yeah, I just feel like it was more of a guiding for me to do more incredible things.
And you are doing some incredible things. So I still remember, and you know, our first meeting. I thought I was meeting with your mom. Because I heard about this nonprofit.
Mhm.
you know, but you stepped in and this was our meeting. I met with you and it was so enlightening to see you in your greatness, at a young age.
Oh, thank you.
So do you feel, as a young leader that you have more pressure or do you feel like you get to just be because you are a young leader?
Well, in some spaces, I have to be a little bit more mature because that is what people expect of me. Like, not only am I a girl, I'm also a black girl in America. So I do have on me. If, let's just say maybe I was a white girl, I feel like it would have been a little bit less pressure because a lot of white girls are actually doing nonprofit work and getting out there. So I there is a bit of pressure on me to be a bit more mature.
And how do you handle that?
Well, I handle it as best as I can. I just try to be as my default self. I try to speak with like enlightenment and I try to lead by example and just try to be like straightforward. I try.
And,
Doesn't
and
always.
and I think you do a great job of it. I mean, like I said, our first meeting, I thought I was meeting with your mom, and you nonprofit, you
Right.
know, and that boldness, is I fell in love immediately. I'm like like black girl power. Like, how do I support her? Like, what do I do? I start texting your mom, inviting her to my show. I'm like, I really want Jada, you know. But no, I love your mom too, and you come from a great legacy. Your
She's
grand.
definitely incredible. She has been through so much, so many lives, just to like let me have a platform for myself. She really has sacrificed a lot. So
And how do you feel about that sacrifice as a young person, knowing that your mom is making, certain sacrifices for you to be great now? Not waiting for you to be great 20 years from now or 30 years from now, but you know, you are great now if no one else tells you this, not me.
thank
you
you.
know so how do you feel mom's sacrifice? Do you notice it? Do you feel it? Or do you cherish it because you know what it is?
Honestly, all three. A lot of parents don't realize that their kids do see that they are struggling, even though some parents just don't want to talk about it. And that's more of my mom. She doesn't really want to speak about like what's happening because we're children. She doesn't want us to worry, but kids can sense that. And her knowing that she didn't want to say anything, but they're still like struggling, and she's still like pushing me forward to do stuff. I really do cherish that, so I could have a good head start in my life when she already went through the teen phase. She's going through like the more mature adult phase, so she's growing too as I am.
I love that you noticed that, because as a child, and I don't actually, let me be clear, as a youth, because I don't want to just put you as a child. As a youth, most youth miss that, right? That our parents are people, and
Hmm.
what you just did was humanize your mom. Right? She's a person too, right? Even though she's supposed to put on a cape, right? Every parent needs to put on a cape when
Yeah,
it
be
comes
like
to our
super
kids.
mom.
Yeah, she should be putting on her cape. You notice that, there's some kryptonite every once in a while, you
Yeah.
know and that's so deep. So tell people, who are you and what are you doing?
So my name is Jada Amirah Lewis. I am 16 years old, and I have my own nonprofit. I'm the founder of my own nonprofit called Amirah's Hope. And through that nonprofit, I wish to help children across America. And mainly, I do food insecurity. I'm taking on a project right now. It's hydroponic systems. And I'm hoping to get 20 into different school districts by I have a grant through Bloomberg Philanthropies in Allentown. So I have to
Hold on,
um
hold on. Are you hearing what this young lady said? She has a grant through Bloomberg Philanthropies. Tell me your age again.
16.
All right, let's keep going.
so, so I have to get 20 hydroponic systems. I do make the hydroponic systems, and they're mini. They're literally desktop. I can literally just hold it in my hand, like, and put it on this table right here.
That is
It's
awesome.
probably the size.
That is awesome.
And I'm really trying to push that out there. So that's one of my projects. Hoping to do a lot more.
Okay, that's a goal. Let's not pass that. So you're building hydroponic systems. How'd you
Yes.
get into that?
So I used to go to a charter school in New York. Um, I am born in Allentown, but I did grow up in New York, so because I have most of my memories there. And this charter school, my mom had this opportunity to go upstairs. I'm not sure. I think this was like after the school day. My mom had this incredible opportunity to go up phonics systems, and I'm like, what is that? Like, what is that? It looks like a fridge. Like, not like a fridge, but it looks as tall as a fridge, as wide as a fridge, but it's plants, hanging out of it. So I'm like, um, this is little 6 year old me. This is 10 years ago. I'm looking at this and I'm like, what is that? And they explain that this is how people eat. This is like system that they grow lettuce and we get all these big loads of lettuce and people get to eat. So I'm like, aren't in school. What about the people that are in homes and they don't have access to go to this school because people can't just walk in. So I said like I need to make something. I need to make a change because if I seen this and I probably in that school, a sixth grader, I'm not a sixth grader, I was 6 years old, probably the only kid that got to see that. I want more kids. I want more kids to have the opportunity to grow and eat healthy.
I love this. So at 6 years old, there was a sparklet, and this is so important because the spark was lit, and a lot of 6 year olds get a sparklet, and then their parents go home and step on their fire, right? You got your spark probably lit another spark inside your mom, right, to do something else, because your food insecurity is huge, especially in our communities. You know, people don't know I made a slow, slight name for myself by secure pandemic.
Oh,
Yeah, right. Because most people outside, we were the first city in America to have our Bloods, Crips, and Latin Kings going out, passing out,
what?
food in food deserts. We located food deserts in our city, and we delivered fresh fruits and vegetables. So
Hmm.
I love that you're talking about food insecurity at such a young age, because if a young person can solve this issue, wow. There's probably 20, 30, 40 years of this that
Hmm.
you can dedicate your life to, where normally it's some old guy, you know, stuffy old guy trying to figure it out. And you seem to enjoy it. Is it a lot of fun? Because I've seen pictures of your mom in the dirt and everything. Do you guys
Yeah,
enjoy this?
yeah, I do. So it's a little bit hard work, trying to like the sun is out and stuff. So I feel like maybe that's the reason why people stray from wanting to get but really like the outcome is so rewarding. Children eat is so rewarding because it's a long do in America.
Hmm.
We solve like everything else. Well, now people coming out to do more and more stuff, but food hunger is still a silent killer.
And I love that you're saying this. And I'm gonna task you one step further. One of the things I learned in dealing with gang members
Hmm.
is when you grow, it's harder to kill, right? When you grow, it's harder to hurt. As you, because most people want the straight A's. You're a great student. Most people want you. I employ you to reach a little further and go get a student that may be on the margin, right? And invite them to come plant with you, right?
Yes.
Because what you'll see is two things. One, you'll be able to spark a new mind to help you. And two, you may be able to decrease the violence in your school and in your atmosphere, because it's when and I got to prove this by having gang members get down on their knees. We grew peppers. I'm not as talented as you,
It's okay.
so I had to grow something that I could do, right? Grew some peppers, but by them coming and watching it grow and putting water on it, and being a part of a life cycle,
Hmm.
right, outside of just birth, right? Because kids are, but being part of a life cycle it made them more caring. So I implore you to just, not to say you haven't, stretch and go find that one kid that may look a little bit more marginalized,
Hmm.
because they may be to also take your program into more areas of desperation,
Yeah.
right? Um, more areas where we may, well, not us, but others may not feel safe, right? And now create another bridge for you to walk in. Because I think what you're doing is amazing. So how many hydroponic systems do you have already?
So I a huge order of PVC piping to put in more systems. So um, I I actually totally forgot the exact amount, but I know it is not just like 20. It is a lot more than 20. Um, it might be it might be like 30. It might be like
Yeah.
30-ish. And I know more is coming because I have to make more. So hopefully I can get these out to schools super, super fast. Well, as quickly as I can. I do want kids to get this in the upcoming school year. And I also want kids to have like the opportunity, not only can they like watch this project and watch it grow in their school, I also want them to get community service hours for this. A lot of I realized that
Now you're talking my language. Community service.
yes, community service. So I already have 5,000 community service hours. So I have the Lifetime Achievement Award from the president for for this. So
I'm stealing her, mom. I have another daughter. I added 3 now. I had 2 already. Hijacking her mom. Go ahead. Keep going. Keep going.
so yeah, I already have Lifetime Achievement for community service hours, but I'm realizing my friends have 0 hours, and I'm an upcoming junior. So this is really important. I don't want my friends to, you know, get held back because that is a requirement. You have to get 60 hours.
And the great thing is you're a nonprofit. So you actually can provide the community
Yes, I
service
can,
hours. So
and I can provide awards too.
that is amazing. So I want someone else to pay attention to this. This young lady has established herself enough so that not only can she provide community service hours for her peers, right? Which is awesome. She can also give them awards. Man, that is powerful. You
Thank
know,
you.
because there are people who are looking for community service hours all the time.
Hmm.
Um, Especially young people that get in trouble. You know, some young people make mistakes. Juvenile probation, juvenile parole. Is always looking for places to give those kind of people, you know, community service hours. So we can set up something where we can possibly help them grow, even if they're doing it. Because most of these young people are still in school. They
Yeah.
made a mistake, so they can possibly grow in their schools and figure that out. I don't know how we figure this out, but I love this.
She's partner with UNICEF,
Yes.
so we can speak about that.
Yeah. Yeah. UNICEF.
Yes.
So what are you doing with UNICEF?
So I'm partnering with UNICEF. I'm partnered with them. I'm gonna do an agricultural club in my school, featuring them, because I also I kind of was a little bit discouraged in the beginning of the sophomore year. I tried getting really involved with like agriculture and stuff, but I realized they already got a grant for doing hydroponic systems. So they were like, well, might as well just join us. But they weren't giving like what kids really need to have. Can kids like get community service hours from this? Can they get like awards from this? Like what can they do from this and get from this? So I'm gonna be using UNICEF to make my own club so I can give the kids what they really, really need.
I love this. So one, you said you saw an issue, and instead of arguing and fighting, You came up with a solution. You know, I they don't give us what we want. This is what we need. And I love this. This is so empowering. Again, Mom, I'm stealing her. I am stealing her. Well, and why this is so amazing is because as older people, no, I'm not a grown folk because I'm a Toys R Us kid. I don't want to grow up. You know,
Okay. Me
you know,
too.
like so as older people, we think we have all of the answers. You know, one of the reasons it looks like I'm smart is because I hang out with people like you, like young people, and I listen. You know, like because you guys are you you've grown up with a different set of technology. You know, you grew up with these phones, right? You were born with these phones. Like I'm a little older, so our phones actually had cords and they plugged into a wall, right? And you couldn't take it with you when I was your age, you know. Like I had to go from destination to destination without a phone.
My mom had a sidekick. See, I know a lot of kids grew up with iPhones, but my first phone was an Android and I was 7. And before that, because I kept bothering my mom for, games and stuff, it was a sidekick. The phone literally opened up.
Yes,
So
hold on. You don't know how cool the sidekick was.
I liked it.
When the
I still
sidekick
like
first
it.
came out, I'm gonna date myself. I still need my ball on my BlackBerry. I'm a BlackBerry boy.
My mom
You
had a
know,
BlackBerry.
so when I think I was the last person with the BlackBerry. Like when it finally kicked, like they're like, sir, they don't make the replacement parts anymore. Like you have to get something else. I'm like, what do you
Yeah.
mean? Like, I'm like, I want that new BlackBerry, the touchscreen one. And they're like, you don't want that. Like that's not.
You know what?
They're like, that's not a BlackBerry. It'll just make you upset. So I love the innovation that you're speaking of. You know, because you're talking about. First of all, thank you UNICEF for empowering this young lady. You know, really stepping into your own to give other young people what they need. You know, at a young age. You know, because if your leadership, and I'm glad, my we got a young person coming on next week. He'll be glad that you're the opening act now. He won't feel his back. He won't feel his back. You know, but young people need to be empowered more. Young people need to have what you're doing. And I love that you're not just looking to help yourself, but you're helping yourself while helping others. Was that something that came natural? Was that something that, mom pushed, or was that just something as you started doing what you're doing, like this is next steps?
So, I would say before I seen like the hydroponic systems, I watched a lot of. I was very imaginative kid. I imagined a lot, so I used to watch like Monster High, like Bratz, like Winx Club, Hello Kitty. Like I was like very girly girl. If anyone was a girly girl, it was definitely me. I wore bows all the time. So I just remember like like couple months ago like rewatching an episode of Strawberry Shortcake, and I realized I watched shows like this and they had so much inventions and gizmos because it was so dated. Like if you really realize, if you go back in the past, all these shows have so much cool inventions because they'd never seen it before. They wanted it to happen in the future. So I took the initiative to create a juice machine. I wanted to make a rainbow juice machine when I was 6 years old. So I drew it out. My mom was like, "Oh my gosh, wait, this is like actually like a good idea." Because I did bother her with my drawing, so she was kind of like, "Oh, Jada, not right now, not right now." Until she looked at it, I went to sleep, and she looked at it. She was like, "This is a really good idea. This is a juicing machine." So from then on, I started to get inspired, and I started to want more. And my mom did help push me. She definitely is a foundation in my life and this progress I'm on. Because without her, I feel like I wouldn't have done this.
I love that you say that. So you think having strong parental support doesn't matter if it's single parent or multiple single parent support has helped you to step into your greatness. What do you think if your mom was a little bit more adversarial, to your dream? How do you think that would work? Do you think it would be as smooth, or do you think, you'd have to just overcome even more obstacles?
Well, definitely, I feel like overcoming more obstacles. So if I didn't have like my mom the way she is right now, like I wouldn't change it for a thing. I would not, because honestly, her like she is such like a beam of light. It really does like bring so much hope in you. She literally will speak for hours and hours, and something will stick. That's what she says. That's what she says. That's what she says all the time. She's like, I'm gonna keep talking your ear off because I know something will stick, and it does. Maybe not what she wanted to stick, but something does stick. So if she wasn't there talking my ear off, I feel like life would have probably went a lot different. Life would have definitely went different. Maybe my mom would still be in the music industry. Maybe I would still be in New York. Maybe I would even meet you. Like honestly, having this person, like it's really crazy. Having different personalities can really change like the trajectory of your life.
I love that you say that, um, because I always say the most important thing to anyone isn't the actual education, but the relationships. Relationships can change your life faster than any book can, faster than, any lesson can, because having someone walk in a room going, Jada's amazing, right? To edify you before you get there, so that when people walk into the room, they're already looking for your awesomeness, right? Having people who are cheerleading for you, right?
Hmm.
Because people don't understand how important having a good cheerleader is.
Very important.
When I played sports back in the days, I when the other team had good cheerleaders because I was stunk, like I'd crush that team because their cheerleaders were too good. Like especially the ones that the Beggre. Okay, I'm killing them today. But yeah, but having a good cheerleader, and I love that you talked about how your mom is a good cheerleader for you. You know, um, you don't have to probably come up with as many ideas by yourself, right? Because you can bounce off to mom. Hey, I want to do this. What do you think?
Hmm.
Mom can give you life experience, right? Um, Possibly a connection. And if not, you can always call grandma and tell
Yeah.
her,
Okay. Yeah. I feel like I would always run to my mom for any type of advice. Seriously, she's like a cat. She definitely has 9 lives. I don't know how she did it. I still don't understand. I feel like I'm on my one life. Well, I have 9 lives, and I'm on my first one. My mom, she's been through all of it. She has definitely been through all of it. She has seen like what people do, like say you give them your idea, they take it. She has seen that in front of her eyes. People have done that to her. She has seen people that have constantly uplifted her from day one and how it changed her. She has seen so much different outcomes of life. So going to her is honestly unlimited advice.
and that is so amazing to have in home, right? To have someone who has the life experience and is willing to share it. And I wanna stop there for a moment because there are parents right now who may not know how important it is to share their experiences with their children. You know, we hide the trauma because we should, at least until you're ready to hear it, and old enough to deal with it. But to share our experience, our knowledge, and not hold it back, because at 16, you know, not only are you running your business, aren't you starting college?
Yeah, I already started. I'm done. This is my last day.
Of the first year.
Yeah, my first year.
Yeah, again, right? To say you're gonna have your associate's degree before you have your high school diploma.
Cool.
Which is an amazing thing to happen. Shout out to Dr. Burks for ASD for increasing the amount of kids that can do this. Because it was a small number of kids that were doing it. I think the first group of kids in ASD was only like 20 kids.
Oh, wow.
And now there's a full partnership. So if qualified, if you put in the work, you can have the same things you're having, right? You're at least education wise.
Yeah.
So that is so huge. So what are you getting general studies? What are you going to college to study? You studying anything in particular?
So this might come out as a shock, but in my career path, I actually want to be an FBI agent. So yeah, I want to be an FBI profiler. So one of the classes I'm taking right now is psychology, and the other is just English. Just to get like prerequisites out the way.
Yeah.
I might start some classes in the fall. Hopefully, I can get some more experience for it. I really do like the career path I'm heading into because in all honesty, and I say this every time. Every time someone asks me like, "Hey, what do you want to do in life?" I always link it back to the fact that psychology and food insecurity goes hand in hand, and a lot of people need to really realize that um the reason why people are out here committing crimes is because they don't have food. They're doing this for their kids. And they don't want to do this. And I know there's so much good people in the world if they only had a chance to be good.
I love that you say that. It's funny that you say that. I remember going to city council and standing in front of city council and said, when I was broke and didn't know any better, I would rob you in front of the chief of police because I didn't think he had the heart to stop me. I had kids early in life, and you think about how are you going, going home without food is not an option,
Yeah.
right? You know, people, I before I left here to come film, my granddaughter was going, G-pop, I'm hungry. So I was like, uh-oh, I may be late. Because I'm going to stop and feed her because I know what it felt like to be hungry. Like hungry is not cool. Like hungry when you're hungry, you get hangry, right? Well, cause there's an anger that comes from hunger, right? And even though uh, we this the jealousy, the envy, all of those things, the seven deadly sins start to show up, when you're hungry, so to allow someone not just to feed themselves, but you're also helping them learn how to feed themselves. Like that, like plant another, I always say hand up instead of hand out. And you're creating a hand up program at 16. Oh my goodness. At 16, I was using hydroponics for all the wrong reasons. All the wrong reasons. Like I was a fool. Like you are so much better than me. Like I like what I no. And it's great, right? So the great thing to be able to do, right, is to celebrate greatness at a young age. See, at 16, I had all of my old heads trying to show me how to do all of the wrong things when I was off. But they say I'm with the I was with that. Yeah, man, no curse
Yeah.
words. I was with that. If you're gonna teach me the wrong stuff, I'm gonna run. When I was in Harlem in the '80s, everything went wrong, right? So you are better than me, and I had a good mom. So I can't say I didn't have a good mom that was trying to guide me in the right way. My mom did everything she could.
It's okay.
I
Yeah.
turned my hat to the back, and I became a nut. Right, so I'm loving. Right, not only are you doing good things, that you are living up to what your nonprofit says. Amira's hope, like you're putting hope into the world,
Mhm.
right? You're providing guidance to young people by what you said earlier, leading by example. Does it put more pressure on you as you walk around with your peers? You know, you're 16 now, so you're at an age where your peers may start to drink, do drugs, become promiscuous. You know, how do you handle that pressure?
Well, I can say that you can't really force anyone to do what's best for them. That's actually like the worst way to get someone sober, is what I've heard. You can't force them, but if they do want to come and want to help me, want to get their community service hours, because even if, like, let's just say this, they get all their prerequisites out, like they're a senior now, and all they need is community service hours. They just want to graduate high school. A lot of kids don't want to drop out, and if they do, they do. But that's because they feel like as if they're not enough. That there's like this pressure on them, and if they can literally just spend a couple minutes admiring, like, this is like food growing in water. Like, if they can just admire that for a couple minutes, like, it's like a peace corner. You know, they have like everything else going on outside of school. They can come in this classroom. They can look and observe and just sit there quietly, get their community service hours. They get the support that they need. They can talk with me because I'm a kid too. They're my friend. They can get other people to talk to. Like, it is trying to create like a safe community for kids.
I love it. One of the things I always say is peer to peer conversations are so much more powerful. So what you may say to another 16-year-old, or what you may say to another 17-year-old, someone in your peer group is going to be a lot more powerful than what this 50-year-old guy with the gray beard is going to say, or what your mom may say, because you're actually living the experience.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I can say you're so much greater than me at this point, because you can make an impact that I can't, because you can make generational impact, right? As a older man, I can reach down, right, and hopefully you'll reach back with me. As a younger person, you can walk up with your hand out and see who latches on. That's a big difference.
Thank
you
you.
know. So I am so proud of you. I'm already adopting you. Your mom better not let me meet the rest of the kids. I might have to adopt them all. And it's just so powerful what you're doing. Because there are there are young people right now who don't believe they can do it. Like some young person that's watching this live, or their parent may be watching this live, that didn't believe that they can start a nonprofit before they turn 18. And then you said this isn't even your overall goal. You know, you know, you said your future goal is to be an FBI profiler. Like,
Mm-hmm.
do you watch that show Profiler?
I watch I watch Criminal Minds and like uh, Chicago Med. Like, I watch, like, different type of genres, but like all kind of the same thing. Like, helping people, analyzing like why they're doing this, and I feel like it goes hand in hand. I don't know why I get like so much like whoa, like oh my gosh when I tell people that I want to be in the FBI, but when I feel like when I explain that food insecurity and crimes go hand in hand, I feel like that's when they start like, oh, like that makes a lot more sense, like why you're going to this path. So hopefully I make it because
I know you'll make it, right? So one of the things we hope for the future, we plan for the best, right? There's two different things, right? You will make it, right? Because if you set your mind to it, you've already been, goal oriented, right? You've already seen things coming to fruition, right? Where most people have to wait until their 18th birthday to see their ideas, turn into something. You probably see multiple ideas of yours turn into things, right? So you definitely can do it if you set your heart to it, and not even set your mind to it, your heart to it. You got to think about it, right? Those times when you convinced your mom to do things, it wasn't because you had your mindset on it. It was because your heart was set on it. You may have to cry, you may have to stomp a little bit, right? But we got our point across. So if you set your heart to it, and I love that you keep going back to this because it's something I say all the time. Poverty is violence, right? So um, most stuffy old people. Once you get to my age, I think we're stuffy and old. I'm still cool. I wear my hats.
okay.
You know, but once most stuffy old people want to solve gun violence, and gang violence, and all these other symptoms, right? But you can't cure the the real problem, right? If you're only dealing with the symptoms. If you know, NyQuil. You ever heard your coffee, sneezy?
Yeah,
You
those
you got
ads.
you need to cover all of those things, right? You can't just if I'm coughing, you can't just cover the cough, right?
Yeah,
Or the
yeah.
cold still persists. If I'm sneezing, you can't just cover the sneeze, or the cold just persists. So what you're doing is actually getting into the root of the problem, right? Poverty, and to be so aware of that at such a young age is so extremely powerful. Like, because most young people, they're thinking about how do I get $1, right? How do I earn?
Yeah.
Shoot, I have on a hat. This is my daughter's clothing line. You see what a hat? You see
I
the
was
hat?
about to ask. I really like it.
Yeah, see, it has dollar signs on it, right? It shows what she's about. But most young people don't think that deep. Like that's a really deep thought. Like how do I solve not just my problem, but how do I help to eliminate poverty to a level that hey, I don't want to just arrest people. I want to profile people. Get into their brain, their psyche. Like that's so deep. That's so like wow. I'm mind blown. You know, and so as you step into your new career, do you then will you then try to transition to hire someone to run your nonprofit, or would you continue to try to run it yourself?
So, you know, well, what I would say is by that time, I get to that age because I'm pretty sure in order to be an actual agent, you have to be 25,
Yes.
and I'm only 16.
So you got 9 years.
Yeah, so I got a couple years to figure out like what am I gonna do with my nonprofit, like how can I continue this, and I feel like I will get people to help me, like progress it a bit more as I probably can't be there physically. I will be able to check in from time to time. Oop, I think
It's
it
okay.
fell.
It's
It's
okay.
okay.
Yeah. So what's amazing, right? Do you think as you grow into your next career, you have 9 years to think about this, right? Would you plant a seed in another 16-year-old, right, to let her lead for a moment? right, to grow into a career, you know, and mentor another 16-year-old, give her a 9-year run or 4-year run, so it can always be possibly youth led,
Mm-hmm.
you
Yes,
know.
I really do want to. I do want to incorporate the fact that it was a youth that founded it, and I want more youth to come forward because, um, honestly, in the city, a lot of people there's like a lot of higher ups, and they're all old.
Hmm.
No offense,
Yeah, we're old.
but I want and they all have a common problem. They cannot get the kids to
Hmm.
want to do something,
Hmm.
and honestly, being a kid myself, it's pretty hard to get myself to do stuff too. It's not just them. It's not just them really. It's just I feel like I guess in the city maybe there's like not a lot of stuff that kids really are passionate about.
Hmm.
Like even though this is well, Bethlehem is like a place full of art, you don't really see kids like going out and doing art. You don't see stuff like that as I would see in New York maybe.
Hmm.
Like from going from like different places I've seen like different perspectives.
Hmm.
Um I hear it all the time. New York is not the best and I get it. I get it. But I have seen so much creativity in New York. Like you will find a mural in an alleyway. You behind the store shop
That's true.
and no one even notices it. The people go unnoticed for days.
Hmm.
Next thing you know, a whole mural.
Hmm.
I feel like I could probably make a whole warehouse with all the art that is stored that people just they don't feel comfortable enough sharing because they don't have the resources to share. Like in New York, they don't care.
Hmm.
They share it.
Hmm.
If they wanna paint something, they share it, and that's what I like about New York. The people are very bold. Like my mom, she will go straight up to people, have a whole conversation. We'll be there for 40 minutes. Um, People here, I feel like they don't really go up to people. They don't express like what they want to do. So trying to get like more kids, you have to be the one to make that opportunity. You have to be there, or else they won't. I don't think they will do it.
So I love a couple of things, and I don't want to pass by. You said some really important things. First of all, the importance of getting out of your neighborhood. You said you traveled in different places, so you've seen different things, you've had different experiences. Travel broadens your mind, it broadens your creativity. So I'm so grateful that you said that. And travel doesn't have to be far. Where New York isn't that far, right? That's a drive away. There are van services that'll take you to New York. So there are places and spaces that aren't far that will allow you to feel more creative. So I love that you pointed that out because I think a lot of us are trapped in our neighborhoods, and it also then traps our minds, right?
Mm-hmm.
We can't imagine, right? What could that be like? I don't know. I've never been there. What I
Yeah.
mean? You know, but you having some experiences allow you to think bigger, right? To dream more. I love that you said that for young people. Think about ways to travel. You know, it doesn't always have to be an expensive way, right? Join a club. You
Yeah.
know, there are clubs that'll take you to somewhere. Join something in your school, an after school program. You know, I grew up in New York too, like your mom. So I was blessed to be able to. I played a lot of basketball.
Mm-hmm.
So playing basketball, my basketball team took us on different trips, right? So we wouldn't become just one trick ponies,
Yeah.
right? So I learned to fish early. I learned to ride a horse early. You know, I learned to swim early. Now I teach swimming, right? So because our basketball coach back then, he said that at some point we're gonna have kids, and we need to know how to save them.
Yeah, exactly.
So teaching us how to swim was very important. But I those experiences gave me a well-rounded personality.
Hmm.
You know, I think the experiences that your mom is providing for you not only is giving you a well-rounded personality, but giving you something to talk about, right? Because there are kids who probably, I have kids that, and I know you know this because you go to high school. I'm from New York. Like, yeah, you're from New York. Where you from? Well, I'm from, and then they start naming streets that don't even
Yeah,
exist.
yeah,
You know,
yeah.
so you're like, just say you from Allentown. Like I had to explain to my son one time. My 18-year-old used to always tell people he from New York because he stayed there one summer. I'm like,
One
you
summer.
lived there one summer. He's like, that's why I started my first business though. I was like, I can't take that from
Well,
you. But you're from Allentown. You were born in Lehigh Valley Hospital, Cedar Crest.
yeah, yeah.
So I love that you can now state to other kids, just your experience, right? Because what's so powerful is your experience, right? I can't, no matter how hard I try, even ever be Jada, right? So your experience is so unique. And by you sharing those experiences, I should say, with peers,
Hmm.
you are lighting candles. I have a friend that said it to light another candle, right? So if you're lighting candles that can light other candles all
Exactly.
across, and you never know how far your 16-year-old reach can go because you're doing it at such a young age, right? There may be a candle in Nova Scotia, right? There may be a candle in Ghana. Well, I probably will, because I can introduce you to some candles in Ghana. But like that, there may be a candle, right, in all of these places around the world that you can light just being you, right? And I love that you love being you, right? Because that's the hard part at being 16. At 16, like I said, I was doing all of the wrong things because I wasn't comfortable being me. I was already a good athlete. I was already a good student. I had a good home, but I wasn't comfortable in my own skin. So I sold drugs. I made mistakes. All of those things help me teach other people now. But that's not your destiny, right? You don't have to swim in those shark infested waters, right? You can actually, ride in the moped above the piranhas, right?
Yeah.
And show people a way home. Right? And I love that for you. It's so powerful. Like I think I I don't know if you know how powerful that is. I'm blessed to have a 17-year-old daughter, um, who I tell all the time how powerful it is. It's like, Dad, you don't go anywhere without my clothes on. Like, why would I? Why would I? What? I gotta have a hat on or a shirt. Might show you a sock. Like, my
Yeah.
daughter made these. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because being a proud parent, right? I love how your mom speaks about you and your brothers and sisters with this. It's not even a sense of pride, right? It's a glow, that comes from the inside, knowing that I am not just doing something great, I'm helping to build greatness. Do you feel it when she's around?
Yes.
Do you feel the extra support? Because not every child has what you have. I tell my kids all the time, you are lucky. You are lucky you my kid. You know what I mean? Like, and I don't know if your mama tell you, you lucky you her kid, right?
Oh, I know.
You
I
know,
know.
you
I
know,
know.
because there are young people right now that don't have your sense of support, right? They don't have your sense of guidance right now, and you get to be that hope for those young people. That's powerful. You get that?
Yeah, it's definitely some people also have to realize that um, growing up in a two-family home doesn't mean that you have the best support either. It really is someone lending you their ear. Like, they are listening, they're there, they're helping you. They're not just like, okay, yeah. It's not just like just listening and not doing anything about it. These people, they'll bring up something so small that you said in a conversation before, and they'll bring it up again. They're like, how do you remember that? Because they were listening and actually being there for you. So even if it's not your parent, even if it's not one parent, even if it's not your grandma, it could be your cousin, it could literally be a teacher, it could be a dog. If the dog helps you, then it helps you.
I love that you say that, right? Finding that emotional support system. Like there are people that walk around with the little dogs. I think it's weird, but that's not on me. You know what I mean? Emotional support dogs. Like I believe in people, you know. So and I love it because it wasn't my mom that saved me as much as she tried. Right? It was my basketball coach. Right? My basketball coach would tell me stop doing all this crazy weird stuff. Like you're good, like
Yeah.
like you're good. Like we talk about I'm good. They know you're good enough, you know. And growing up in the projects, growing up in Harlem, you know, if you ever seen the movie When They See Us, which is about
Haven't
those.
seen it yet.
You don't need to yet.
Oh,
Take
okay.
your time.
Yusuf is a mentor.
Yeah. So Yusef, Antron was coming to my house.
Yeah,
It's a
that's
So
yeah.
Antron was my best friend out of the five. We went to school. Oh, I knew them all, but Tronny was my best friend. So knowing like how much hope you get to spread, because when they went to jail, our neighborhood went crazy, right? Because it wasn't because what everyone else thought. What it was because if Antron can go to jail, then we're all potential victims.
Yeah.
Because he was the good kid. He played baseball. He never got in trouble. He didn't hang out. When his mom said be home by curfew, he was home
He
by
was
curfew.
home.
Like me, I'm like, come on, stay with me. If he could get in trouble, then we could get in trouble, right? So you being a peer mentor, right? Just sharing your story for other kids, it gives just another alternative, right? If I don't have to be in Jada, right? But I can see Jada and I can do great too. Where in our neighborhoods, I know your mom has probably told you this before, you know, the the people who were inspiring us were drug dealers, you know. Best when he said either you had a wicked jump shot or slang a mean crack rock. I had a wicked jump shot, but I unfortunately also chose to sling a crack rock, because I didn't have good guidance, right? That's why your blessing, is that not only do you have one generation of guidance, but you have two, right? You have two generations, which is very rare for a young black girl, right? Two generations in front of you of greatness. Mom is amazing, right?
Mhm.
But grandma might be just a little slightly greater, right? Because she has a little bit more experience even than mom, right? So mom can still learn from grandma, right? And you can also tap into that well,
Yeah.
right? Because grandma's well available for you as well
Mhm.
as you step into your greatness. Because as you listen to your mom talk, right? She's no longer really living for what her mission is, but for the mission of you and your siblings.
Yeah.
There aren't many parents, and I can't even say I'm that selfless. Man, my kids had to jump in the dream, like jump in this dream with me. I can't say I was that selfless. Your mom has found a way, to incorporate herself into your dream. You know, that's powerful. It's amazing, and I hope that it allows you to share your story more, as we are, going through this, right? It's not just what you do, right? Because, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to tell you hydroponics, running a nonprofit, still going to school, but, you know, how you lead,
Hmm.
right? And that leading isn't about a whole bunch of talking. Like, if anyone can talk, right? How do you show it when you come into it, right? The confidence. Like, I still brag about, I'm like, she shut me down. I thought I was talking to her mom. She reminded me, this is my nonprofit. I'm like, and then she went back into silent mode. I'm like, oh, shut me down and it went silent. I'm like, oh, that's how this goes. But I loved it, because it showed that I'm confident enough to speak my mind, but smart enough to still listen, right? Because if I didn't know, I would have disregarded the 16-year-old in the room because I didn't realize it was yours, right? So that's power, So clap for yourself, and really, embrace that because that is you, right? As you're going into junior year, what are some things you'd like to accomplish this year? We got the 20, we got 20
Hydroponic
hydroponic
systems.
systems. What
Yeah.
else would you like to accomplish this
Well, I really want to graduate early. I've been telling my mom this all week because my best friend is graduating early and she's so smart and I feel left out
year? Okay.
because I know that good movies are coming out in the summer of 2027. Okay. Okay. And that's when I graduate. So that means I can get a trip in when I'm a senior, and we'll both be out of school, and we both can watch the movies. So all I really need is, I think, like 4 more classes, but I'm already doing like dual enrollment, so I can just transfer those credits over, and hopefully I can graduate early this year. After I graduate early, because I know I am, um, I want to take a moment and start to mass produce. Yes, I really want to start mass producing. Hopefully, I can get like a foundation. I really want a stable foundation for my organization. I have a space. It's my mom's space, and we're gonna start putting like hydroponic systems there so we can start donating because that is an amazing space. At least I have a space,
Mm-hmm.
so I'm gonna be using that. Definitely gonna be start emailing people definitely to get into the school districts because um you don't even know how hard it was to convince my own school district, and I go there, I go to this school. So just now getting a club junior year is kind of crazy. I did ask when I was a freshman, so hopefully I can start feeding people. That is my goal. I need to start feeding people.
I love it. So first of all, I don't want to miss certain things, right? You said you started freshman year and it took you to junior year, so that showed perseverance, right? Because you could have gave up sophomore year, right? And you kept pushing. You could have gave a freshman year. I don't want to go, but
Yeah.
you fought for 2 years to get this, and then to have a real goal of feeding people, you know. When I tell you I love you, little girl, like I love you, like that is so amazing, because I know grown-ups who give up after a year.
Yeah.
I know grown-ups who give up after the first no, like, oh, enjoy my stuff. We okay,
Yeah.
you said no. Not only am I not gonna join, I'm gonna build something. And then though it took 2 years, you know, it's here, right? And it does that feel good to see, 2 years of your work, now here.
It feels amazing. Hopefully, I can start meeting new people to recruit in my club. Yes, I will be going up to a lot of people. Um, Believe it or not, well, I think you can believe it. I'm very quiet, so I actually really don't like going up to people and just making random conversation. It is kind of hard for me to do that. So that is something I'm going to be working on this year because I do need to do it. I really want people to see the benefits of like joining my club. Um, Maybe we can go on trips.
So there are always tricks to the trade, right? So if we are not good one-on-one all the time, creating group settings, right?
Yeah.
Where you get it all out one time. And maybe I won't get everyone in the group, as long as I get one.
Yeah.
And then I don't have to talk, and then that one, becomes two. That two becomes four. That four becomes eight, and now I don't have to have as many uh, public conversations.
Yeah.
Even it's pretty funny, right? Even though I am pretty good at this stuff, I don't really like talking to public either.
Yeah.
Like it's something. Um, as you become the leader of your organization, as you start to build your dream, it becomes something that you have to do because what I've learned is no one communicates your dream like you do.
Yeah.
Not even your parents. My mom loves me like your mom loves you. But my mom loves me. And my mom tells everyone all of these wonderful things about me. But 95% of them are wrong.
Yeah.
But she means well. You know what I mean? So I gotta go in and I gotta go fix it. So how I've decided to end that, right, is I'll just speak for you.
Yeah.
Right? So for you, going to recruiting, when they have like club meetings and club recruiting stuff, you can put yourself in spaces, where you can recruit multiple people instead of having to always go individually, unless you have, that one friend, everybody got a rider, right? That's gonna run around. It's gonna, you know, see, maybe you can use them as the mouthpiece for a little bit, and they bring them to you. Be the recruiter. Like, yeah, you can sit back like the Don. I'm glad you came to my table, right? I'm glad you came to the Don's table. Right?
I'm glad you came.
Yes.
We were expecting you.
Yes, we can tell you about our great hydroponics and why you will be blessed to be working with that dollar. Right? Yeah, see? You just need one of those around, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. See, my daughter has her brother, her older brother. He's, because my daughter's like you. She's very silent. She's, except for when it comes to her money. She,
Well, that's all that matters.
she'll let you know real quick.
Money talks.
Well, yeah. And then I watch it go back into. I'm like, wait, where did that come from, and where did it go? Because it comes and goes like the wave. Like, got my money back into not talking to nobody. I'm like, oh.
Well, she got her money.
But I tell you, this time goes by quickly. So I want to make sure that we tell everyone how to find Amirah's Hope, how to get involved, how to donate if they choose, right? Because we are a nonprofit, so we need donations, right? So how do they donate first?
So, on my Instagram, there is a link that people can press, and you can donate directly to Amirah's Hope to support me. And my Instagram is Amirah's Hope org, ORG, all together, lowercase. Everything's lowercase.
Amirah's Hope org. So if it doesn't have the org at the end, it's bootleg.
It's not me.
It's not her. So we want to make sure that we're giving to the right space, right? Giving in the right places. And does Amirah's Hope have a website? Is there a website? What's your website?
Yeah. So if you see anything that says Amirah's Hope org, it has to have the org. It's me.
All right, now yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, you heard that, right? If it doesn't have the org, right? O-R-G, O-R-G. If it doesn't have that, that's not her. That's some bootleg version. That's Nikes with 2 stripes. That's Adidas with 4 stripes. Because it's not K-Swiss. K-Swiss got the 5th stripe. So it's still not, it's all Fugazi. So you make sure that you support this young lady, support her vision, her dream. Like, I am so proud to know you. We ain't even drop your grandmom's name because you're just that powerful. You're like, that's how you know you good, right? When people don't have to say who your grandma is, you know you good. I used to walk in and tell people who my granddaddy is because I wasn't that good. My grandfather was one of the first black men to drive a train, in New York City. So I'd be like, I'm Abram Alex's grandson. Like, you don't have to say that. I could just say, I'm here with Jada. You know what I mean? And we're not even talking about Jada Kiss. I'm here with no disrespect to the rapper. I'm here with Jada, and they're like, okay, we gotta let you in, because you're doing great things, big things, and it's so impressive.
That's how I feel my mom.
You're doing such impressive things. So I want to make sure not only does the world know who you are, right, but your peers know who you are. Because Whitney Houston said it best, right? It's before pre-Bobby Whitney. I believe that children are the future. You know what I mean? Teach them well and let them lead the way.
Mm-hmm.
Show them all the beauty they possess inside. Give them a sense of pride. Let them lead the way. Let the children's laughter remind us how we used to be. And that is so powerful. You get a chance to be that beacon of light, in youth, your age. There's a lot of apathy in your age group. A lot of the music right now is very depressing, purposely. As you're doing psychology, you're learning more too, that the music is purposely depressing your generation. You get to be a hope. You get to be a light. You get to put a smile on faces, right? They need it. So I thank you. I thank you for stepping into your greatness. All that you are. I thank you for reminding you you're not prophet. I wouldn't have had really to learn about what you are and what you're doing. You don't know. You are amazing.
Thank you. You too, really.
All humble, but yes, I want you to know what you're doing. 10 years from now, you're gonna look back on it. You're gonna thank yourself for embracing the hard parts of speaking to people when you're shy.
Yeah.
Stepping out of your comfort zone. Learning things at 16 that there are people at 25 don't know how to do. 35, they're grown. I didn't run my first nonprofit. Let me date myself. I didn't run my first nonprofit until I was 26.
Wow.
And that
in itself is an achievement. Some people never.
I don't. 26 though. You're at 16. You don't have 10 years. That's a big difference. I didn't run my first nonprofit, and by the time I ran my first nonprofit, the group of people that I wanted to inspire, I was too old to inspire. Because at 26, I'm no longer a young person. As much, I did shave my face and I didn't have the gray hairs yet, so I could fool you. You'd think I was probably 20, but you didn't. You knew I wasn't 16. Might have been able to trick you to say I was 20, inspire you, not trick you to do anything else.
Yeah.
Want to be clear there. Trick you to inspire you, not trick you to harm you. So, but I was too old. At 26, talking to a 16-year-old, the age gap is such difference because your experiences are different. they could tell how I fumbled around with the cell phone, that I wasn't as cool as, you know what I mean? You know, there's gonna be a generation after you that's gonna see how you fumble with AI and realize you're not as cool as them.
It's already happening.
Yeah.
It is already happening. I will get to this age. I will be over.
Yeah.
My brothers, they be like on YouTube and stuff. And I just like, what are you talking about? And I play games. What is that?
And as I said, as you get older, right, it's that our reach changes. So while you can reach for the stars, I say dance on the clouds, right? As you put your hands across the universe, where you're the most powerful. You know, what we tend to do is we stifle our children when they're the most powerful. The most times they're more, at 16, you're still cute. You know, at 26, you know, you're not cute anymore. You may be adorable, right? But you're not cute anymore. Like, you can't lean into being cute, right? So take advantage of what God has blessed you with, the support system that you have, right? And the light that you shine.
Thank you.
Oh man, the pleasure was all mine. But the time goes by so quickly. So again, tell them how to find you. How to donate. That's the most important thing. How do we send you some money?
So you go to my Instagram, Amirah's Hope org. Remember the org. I'm an organization. And you can find the link below. And all you have to do is just click on it and you can donate directly to my organization.
And your website, tell them again.
Amirah's Hope org.
Org. So remember, if you don't see the org, walk out. Call me. I'll direct you to the right place, because we want to make sure that not only are we supporting this young lady, but we're also, you know, being a support system to that light, right? A light can shine brighter, right, if it's amplified. So let's be the amplifiers of this young lady's life.
Oh, thank you.
Yes. And we're at the end, so I'm going to ask you to do what all of our friends have done with us on our show and that's say our personal manifesto. So I'm going to say it all the way through for you, and then we'll do it through call and response. So don't worry about remembering, because it's long and it's drawn out.
Okay.
So my personal manifesto is simple. It's I love me. I'm worthy. Some people may not like me, but I don't care, because the people that matter will be glad that I'm here. Don't worry about murmur. So I love me.
I love me.
I'm worthy.
I'm worthy.
Some people may not like me.
Some people may not like me.
But I don't care.
But I don't care.
Because the people that matter.
Because the people that matter.
Will be glad that I'm here.
Will be glad that I'm here.
And I'm so glad that you gave me an hour of your time. I am so glad that I got to spend this time with you. I'm so glad I adopted another daughter. You know, your mom's going to have to share you. Like, I am so glad that we got to talk about Amirah's Hope. I'm so glad that you told people about hydroponics the good way. You know, I'm so glad that you talked about food insecurities. I'm so glad and so grateful that there's a young person that's actually on top of fighting poverty in a unique and amazing way. If no one else tells you this, Jada, you are awesome and amazing, and you are a special young lady.
Thank you.
Lean into your light and don't let anyone dim it. One of the things I always say is be so sure of yourself that anyone can lift your spirits, but no one can shake your confidence.
Thank you.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate it, really.
So I'm going to leave you with the last word.
Okay. So, whew. Oh, do I say the last word?
Yeah, you say the last word.
For anyone out there that feels like they don't have a support system, that feels like that they're alone, just make sure that there is always someone out there waiting for you. You just have to be confident enough to put yourself out there so that they can find you.
You don't have to be perfect. You just have to get started. Words from Jada.